Alright, so finally doing my video on the Defender 20 from iFlight. So I previously did videos on the Defender 25, the one over here on the right, and the Defender 16, the one over here on the left. And I'll link both of those videos down in the video description. Since the original review of the Defender 25, they did make a couple of modifications. I think the biggest one was they added GPS to the Defender 25, and mine does not have that, but otherwise it's basically the same. And they also released some ND filters, and these are for the 16 and 20 because these have the naked O3 air units, so they have a different camera setup here versus the Defender 25 has the full O3 camera, as you can see there. So those can use standard O3 ND filters. The ones from Flywoo, if you're wondering, they don't fit this one because of these little, I guess, little notches here that stick out. They have modified theirs so that they have those notches accounted for. So when you look at them, you can see that those are little cutouts there in the corners. So these will fit fine. Actually, on both the Flywoo naked O3s and the iFlights, but the Flywoo ND filters do not fit the iFlights. So in terms of the ND filter side, you get an ND 8, 16, and 32, and they also sent along the UV filter, which is a clear filter. So when you don't want to use an ND filter, you can use that to protect the camera. So in terms of a size comparison, obviously the 16 is a little bit smaller than the 20. You can see a little difference there in size. It's a 1.8-inch prop on the Defender 16, and you have a 2-inch prop for the Defender 20. And they're both, well, the original ones here are made by HQ Prop. I think these were also made by HQ Prop. They have since switched the Defender 16 over to the GemFan 45mm propellers. And then here's a comparison of the Defender 20 to the 25, and you can see here quite a bit larger is the Defender 25 with the 2.5-inch props. And here's the comparison of the Defender 16 to the Defender 25. We can see quite a big difference in terms of the size. So in terms of the design, basically a slightly larger version of the Defender 16, still uses the naked O3 air unit in the bottom there and naked O3 camera. All plastic construction. There's no carbon in here, so it's durable plastic. They do have replacement prop guards if you need to replace them in a crash. And this is designed to be fairly, I guess, simple to repair. So the prop guards come off with just a few screws. Obviously the batteries are easily removable, etc. So if you do crash and you do need to make repairs, as long as you have the spare parts, the Defender 16 and the Defender 20 are fairly easy to repair. The Defender 25 is a little bit different design. That was like sort of that was the original design that came out, so they kind of made this one actually a lot easier to fix than the Defender 25, although this one isn't that bad either. Now in terms of any drama regarding props exploding, I had no issues with this one compared to the Defender 16. Now they did send me replacement HQ props for the Defender 16, and then after that everything was fine. I was flying this no problem, and it does fly on the GemFan props no problem as well. So I think the first batch of the HQ props that came with the Defender 16, which I think I went through 4 sets of those were defective in some way, so they kept exploding. But the next set of props that came out for this one that they sent me, those all seem to be fine. I haven't had any issues since then, and I haven't had any issues with the 2-inch props on the Defender 20. So I'm just going to give you some overall specs on here on the 3 so you can kind of get an idea in terms of comparison. In terms of weight, the takeoff weight is going to be 128 grams for the Defender 16, it's 178 grams for the Defender 20, and then for the Defender 25, it depends on which battery you use. If you use the 550 milliamp hour battery, it's going to be 249 grams. For the 900 milliamp hour battery, it's going to be 280 grams, so it'll be over the 250 gram limit. The flight time on the 900 milliamp hour 2S on the Defender 16 is going to be about 6 minutes. And then when you move up to the 3S 900 milliamp hour on the Defender 20, you get 7.5 minutes. On the smaller 550 milliamp hour 4S on the Defender 25, you get 6 minutes. Then if you move up to the 900 milliamp hour 4S on the Defender 25, you get 10 minutes of flight time. Now, in terms of my testing, it kind of depends on wind conditions and how hard or aggressive I'm flying, which I'm kind of pushing a little bit sometimes here. So I get a little bit less flight time than what's advertised, but generally speaking, that's what you're going to be expected to get. The motor size is smallest on the Defender 16. It's a 1002 motor. You get a 1204 motor on the Defender 20, and then on the Defender 25, it's a 1404 motor, so the largest motor on the Defender 25. Now, as I said, the Defender series are all kind of targeting sort of these people that don't want to have to deal with a lot of headaches in terms of building, tuning, other kind of headaches like, like dealing with what kind of battery charger that they need to buy, etc. Which is why the Defender 20 and the Defender 16, they come with their own battery charger in the case. So the Defender 16, Defender 25 come with a case, which the quad fits in nicely. Comes with this proprietary charger, which I think for the kind of people that are targeting that don't want to deal with, what kind of charger they need to get, what kind of cables they need to get, charger settings, storage charging, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to deal with that with this. You just basically stick the battery in. You plug in your USB-C cable here into whatever wall charger you have. And it's as simple as plugging in a cell phone. And most people can plug in their cell phone and charge it. They can plug this in and charge it as well. And then this has a built-in circuit in the battery where it will automatically go into storage charge. It will actually discharge itself after 72 hours of not being used, and it'll go to 3.9 volts. So there's no need to worry about any kind of, what kind of charger do I need to get? What kind of charger settings do I have to use? Is it safe? This is basically plug and play. You just, stick it in, plug it in, wait till it turns green, and you're good to go. Obviously, with different size batteries here, we got a smaller one here for the Defender 16, and then a little bit bigger one for the Defender 20. Although they look like they're about the same size in terms of the width or the height here. You can see that this one's a little bit bigger for the bigger battery. For this, it's obviously a 3S versus a 2S battery. Now for the Defender 25, with that same concept where they just want to take the battery and plug it in via USB-C, they did come up with the same idea where they have this charge adapter, and then you can take the Defender 25 battery. So it's a little bit different in terms of how it goes in. The clips are on the side, but basically the same idea. Plug this in, and then you're going to plug this battery in, the battery lead into here, the XT30, and then all you have to do is plug in your USB-C cable. Some kind of phone charger will work fine, like an 18 watt, 15 watt phone charger, and you're off and running. So they came up with this shortly after they came up with this idea for the Defender 20 and 16, so that people that were having some difficulties charging this with, you have to plug this into with an adapter cable and all that. It was very confusing for people. So I'm glad they came up with this idea to sort of meet the needs, and sort of the same idea as the Defender 16 and Defender 20 for their chargers. So the question is this going to be the kind of system you want to go for? And I think the question you have to ask yourself is, how much of a headache do you want to have in terms of learning a lot of the stuff in FPV, watching a lot of videos, et cetera, like learning about chargers, for example. If you don't really want to deal with that kind of stuff, this is a much simpler solution. It gets you in the air. It's got a pitch tune already on there. You just have to bind it up to your transmitter, charge up the batteries, and you're off and running, and you're going to get some really nice stabilized 4K footage from the DJI O3 system here. There's not much you need to learn in terms of getting up in the air. Obviously, you want to learn how to fly first, maybe fly in a simulator before you take this out, because if you don't have any flying experience and you try to fly this for the first time and crash, sometimes those crashes can be pretty severe. Now, granted, this isn't terribly difficult to repair. If you have the spare parts, and if you are a first timer, I would recommend definitely buying some spare prop guards and maybe a whole spare frame. The plastic does break in a crash, but it should protect the electronics unless it's a really bad crash, or if you splash it into the ocean or something like that. If you go into the salt water, pretty much any quad's going to die. But generally speaking, if you just break the plastic and you have spare parts, it should be relatively easy to swap over the parts to a new frame, or just swap out the prop guards. That's actually the easiest thing to do. Most of the time, the prop guards are going to just break, and if it's not a really terrible break, you can sometimes just glue the plastic together with some, E6000 or welder's glue, and that can get you going. Or you can just swap out the whole prop guard if you feel like you want to do that. And I think the prop guards are maybe like $5 to $6, something like that. It's not terribly expensive. So of course, if you're an experienced pilot, you already know about batteries and how to charge stuff. You already have all your own equipment. This is probably not the setup you want to go for, because there's going to be other Cinewhoops out there that going to work with the batteries you already have. And if you don't really care about repairability or spare parts, or if you just want to have carbon frames for everything, then obviously this system isn't going to be for you. But I think iFlight is targeting a specific type of pilot that perhaps is just starting out, not too keen about learning about every little detail, watching thousands of hours of videos. I think this might be a decent solution for some of those people. Anyway, I'm going to link those videos. Again, I reviewed the 16 and the 25 earlier, so those will be linked in the video description down below. I'll link all these products down in the video description as well if you want to check it out. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.